Nodding. Woo!
Hi everyone, my name is Jason. I'm a second year from 6th College. I'm a communications major. I'm running for co-cultural coordinator, co-co for short. I'm going to shorten it so I don't sit I'm running for this position because I feel that I need to give back to the community that gave me so much. This is my first year going into this space, and I feel like I've gained a lot of opportunities academically and in a retention form, but also culturally. I feel like I've learned a lot about my culture, and I've learned to respect what my parents have done for me personally, and I've just taken a lot of time to reflect upon what it means to be a Filipino student and how I can integrate those ideas into PCC. Also, I feel qualified for this position because I had leadership positions in high school. I was an ASP president for my senior year, and also film secretary at the same time. So I do have some experience with cultural dances, and I would want to inspire other GBMers so that they can learn why we're doing this dance. Because I feel like right now we've been doing dances, but I don't think we've been really understanding why we're doing them or what they're really about. So for next year, if I'm elected, I want to incorporate that into maybe cultural corners.
Hi, I'm Paolo. I'm a first year Revell biochem cell bio major, and I'm also running for COCO. I remember when I was thinking of joining KP, and like one of the reasons why I came here was I remember Triton Day last year in Katikuna, and I got to talk to a few of the members and officers, and they actually made me want to come here. And one of the reasons why I wanted to go to Katikuna was I heard there's a Filipino org here. I've never really had something like that. So one of the reasons why I wanted to be a part of a COCO is that the fact that you're sharing with the members what your culture is. And while I'm learning for myself, I would also like to take the initiative to be the one to also communicate to others, this is your culture, this is our culture. Even if you're not Filipino, this is what a Filipino or Filipino American is. And just sharing the overall what a culture, co-cultural coordinator, you're coordinating getting people affiliated with what it means to be Filipino, quote unquote. So I feel like one of the reasons why I really do want to be a COCO is I really want to be able to help facilitate that kind of education of the cultural aspect. And then also because one of the big things that's been going around is the community, and with PCC process and how it just ended and how it's still kind of after just experiencing my first PCC, I really felt that welcoming environment and seeing how there's a bunch of people that came together to celebrate this culture and present it to their family, their friends, the UCSC, Greater San Diego community, and being one with the people to have coordinated something that big and something that important is really something that I would really love to do next year.
So opening up, okay. Ed?
As COCO, you work with a lot of people, and miscommunication is uncommon. Name a time when you had professional conflict. What was the problem, and how did you solve it?
Well, in high school, I served as the Key Club president on my senior year. So one of the things that really was required of me to do was to be the leader, be the one to delegate tasks among my officers. And the thing when I was president, was that a lot of my officers on board were underclassmen, so they weren't really sure what they were doing as an officer. So my conflict communication-wise is that they weren't sure what they were doing, they wouldn't ask what they're supposed to be doing, so nothing would be really getting done, and I would have to be doing things by myself. But I remember that it came to a point where I had to be the one to approach this situation, tell my underclassmen, hey, you signed up for this position, the members voted for you to be one of your leaders, and so you have to be the one to be accountable for yourself, make sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, just making sure that they understand that communication is really important, especially when you're working as a leader for an organization like Key Club or like KP, that you want to be the one to initiate conversation, make sure that everyone's on the same page and that no one's really left out in the dark and everyone knows what they're supposed to be doing.
Do I answer the same question?
Yeah.
Sorry. Likewise, I was co-president my senior year. I kind of had a similar problem to Paolo, except my officers were upperheads or upperclassmen, so that they were already kind of checked out of the space, senioritis. So I had to initiate a sit-down check-in to make sure that we were all on the same page. Because it came to the point where I was running fundraisers, I was doing the GBMs, not GBMs, oh my god. I was running what do you call it? The lunchtime meetings. Lunchtime meetings. And I was also advertising and making programs and flyers and all this. But I made I want to call it a board sit down with our advisor, and I made sure that we made edits to the Constitution. I made them make sure that they needed to help me the same way I've been helping them. Oh, also, sorry. Also, right now, I'm a communications major, and I work in an HID neuro clinic hospital research facility. But I just do filing paperwork, so I work with other fund managers. So I answer emails on a daily basis. I think communicating in that way has helped me to communicating through email has helped me to address personal problems.
Anyone have questions for Coco? It's Christiana. Oh, wait. Oh, I didn't see you. Sorry.
Besides PCC and GBM, what programs are you planning to do to spread awareness or educate GBMers or fellow board members about it?
I'm going to go ahead and talk about cultural corners. I think that for next year's GBMs, if we were, if I were to be a cultural coordinator, I want to implement teaching dances at GBMs, because sometimes I know that it's a lot of heavy just discussion and reflection, and sometimes we need that little motivation or that little inspiration to break out and stand up and just maybe even stretch for a little bit. And then I want to be able to explain why we turn so much in dances, for Filipino dances, why we dress the way we dress, or just something like that. Also, I am experienced with the Esgrima stick for, it's a Filipino weapon, it's just a stick, it's basically just a stick. It's like the sticks that we use for sakuting. Was that sakuting?
Yeah.
But it's a little larger. So I also want to implement that into, if anyone wants to learn about martial arts. But that can also be incorporated into the KP Fitness program.
One of the things that I saw this year was how Karanyosa and other Balaoing dance, they were involved in Trident Day at Martial Cultural Celebration, and then at one of the Warren events, and I really like how it really got people who were involved to express their culture in different areas, not just in the KP space, but also throughout the UCSC community. So one of the things that I remember is that this year I was one of the overnight hosts, and at the welcome dinner they had lion dancing, they had Mexican hat dancing and everything. I'm not really sure what they're called, I'm sorry. But they had cultural cultural dances like that. And I was wondering, why isn't KP there, or why isn't there Filipino dancing? So I want to see how, if dancing was involved, taught at GBMs, how if it could be able to incorporate how get that group of people who were dancing at the GBM to come together and go to events like that and just express it throughout the community, and I don't know, just if they were to learn to dance, not just to know it, but to express it and show it throughout the community, and even reach out to things like Trident Day. I would love to have KP be represented again at Trident Day again, just to get the word out that Filipinos are here, and we know our culture and we're proud of who we are, and we'll express it on Trident Day, and yeah, just get out
Ed.
So,
Oh.
oh,
There's no speakers. So being a Coco is a very time-consuming process, and it has a lot of things that you need to incorporate. But what do you foresee being your largest challenge, biggest challenge, or difficulty if elected, and how would you try to overcome it?
I think after shadowing the Cocos and seeing how much work they put into it, I saw how much they had to do a lot of time management and a lot of communicating between a lot of people and like choreographers, even the people involved in PCC. So I feel like just being making sure that everyone is all on the same page would be a big issue. Just because not everyone checks Facebook on the daily, not everyone has social media available to them. So I think one of the things I would that would be a biggest challenge of just being able to reach out and make sure that everyone's on the same page. Just not everyone takes on their own part to be able to say, oh, I know what's going to be happening. They don't always ask, oh, what time is this going to be at? They just don't even go because they don't even know that there's practice or something like that. So I think just communicating between a huge group of people like KP is going to be a big problem. But I'm willing to figure out what it is that what it'll take. If it's Twitter, I'll tweet it. If it's just reaching out on different levels of communication, making sure that everyone has that oh, they're reaching out to me, then I will take the initiative on myself, make sure that I will give back to reciprocate. It's not just about the KP board doing everything for everyone. Everyone also has to be leaders for themselves. And I see leaders of KP and of leaders in general, just leaders from the back, where they don't lead from the front. They push everyone from the back to so that we rise up together.
I didn't write it down. Okay. Being Coco is very time-consuming. There's a lot of things that need to be incorporated. What is your biggest challenge, and how do you hope to overcome it?
Biggest challenge in general, or for time?
For just for your position as Coco, what do you think is going to be your biggest challenge or difficulty?
I'm assuming just from watching CNN, Ed, time management would be the biggest challenge. But I feel like I'm very well time managed. While in high school, I was in leadership, the ASB president and Heat Club president, club secretary. Also at the same time of doing schoolwork, I was also in a dojo, East Bay Karate Do. I was a volunteer instructor and black belt candidate, but that's a different story. And I was also a band manager, so I feel that I have a good sense of how to separate social, academic, and personal life.
Ed.
So first of all, so the two of you were part of the PCC process, and I think most of us can agree that PCC this year was very successful, so you have some very big shoes to fill. That being said, the PCC is a very big, let's say, celebration show. So do you have any experience previous hand that can help you with putting up a big show at PCC?
Yeah, while in high school, I was also, sorry, it's a lot in high school. I know I haven't experienced a lot in the collegiate level because as the first year I wasn't involved in anything, and coming into the space the second year really brought my attention to opportunities that I could not have found anywhere else. But I was involved in the Multicultural Assembly all 4 years of my high school, and that's performance as well. It's not as big as PCC because it's not a play, it's just a lot of cultural dances. But for Philam, I was a part-time choreographer, and I have experience working with and teaching dances to a large group of people. That can tie along with my volunteer instructing at the East Bay Karate Do.
Same for me. I haven't really had many experiences yet here on campus. But I remember in 8th grade, I was part of the stage crew for our 8th grade Glee Club production. So I was one of the people that helped paint things and make sure the little details were put together just to because I feel if something as big as PCC, it wouldn't be possible without the little things that everyone takes part in, and it can't just be up to 2 people to do. Thankfully, OCC. Oh, yeah, OCC. So I was in OCC. So being a part of the process of putting together PCC and seeing like the different aspects of like not just like there was PA where a whole week was dedicated to like education like pillar and political and social, all the pillars were at PA, and it was like really cool to see like the community like coming together and like working with MetShop, working with BSU and like different aspects of like the campus, and like seeing how even little things like that help build up to make PCC as successful as it was. So I feel like I'm glad that I did it. So like at least I have an idea of like what's really going to be going into the PCC process, and like taking what I've learned from that and like using it to like for next year.
Eric.
The pillars of KPs, political and culture really ties in together. And I just want to know how will you incorporate political in your culture events?
Well, I feel like, especially with cultural, there's a lot of political background to cultural, especially because after taking that Ethnic 98 class, I saw a lot of how the history of the Philippines tied into like what it means to be Filipino and how we're still figuring out what our identity is. So like even, it's kind of like, you can't be too sure of like everything. So like, just like building upon like the cultural aspect and like trying, like how I would try to incorporate the political is like just giving the background of like the culture and like seeing how like different like, maybe like how, because Carniosa comes from Spanish, like that's how the political part of that cultural aspect came from. And like how, just like you know, like low, okay, how do I, okay. So like, yes, political and cultural, yes, they tie together very much. And like, I feel like it's not going to be like 100% political, 100% cultural all the time. And like, there's always going to be that like background of like, maybe like for a certain like political aspect of a certain cultural theme. So I'm not really 100% sure like what it would be like next year and how I would exactly like make it exactly how cultural is political. Like, it's confusing to me right now. But hopefully, like if elected, I would be like working with my co and like I can't just say for myself like what I would do. Like that's only my ideas. And like as a co-co, you are a co, and like you would work with your co to like figure out what you need to do.
I agree with Paolo. In learning about the dances, I think that the political aspects come from learning about the history of the music, history of the dance itself, and that brings up contemporary issues. And it can be a reflection upon what we're doing different today and how our society is moving in a different direction than it was from the past. And that can be an opportunity to work with the gender and sexuality in addition to the social awareness coordinators as well. So I think the political aspect is directly connected to the cultural aspect of learning about history.
So that was the fifth question for the Cocos. Okay, this one. Yeah.
Wait, can I finish my thought? Okay, I'm done. PCC is arguably one of KP's biggest retention events. How do you plan on engaging upperheads to come back and join the PCC process? And how do you plan to retain undergrads within KP? Okay. I repeat. Towards the back. PCC is arguably one of KP's biggest retention events. How do you plan on engaging upperheads to come back and join the PCC process? And how do you plan to retain undergrads within KP?
I think that goes back to the outing program. So I have my ate and her whole lineage of her heads. So I think reaching out to them and reaching out to the alumni liaison would be a good opportunity to bring them back to the space. In addition, for undergraduates who are not interested in coming back to the space because of some apparent reason, I feel that they need to be more embraced and know that this is a welcoming it's a welcoming space, welcoming space. Because I felt that when I entered this space, I knew absolutely no one, and it only takes one person. It takes one person to get to know and to be involved with the community. So, in a personal level, I feel that it is my responsibility to reach out to people who are kind of fading off.
So like in regards to getting the upper heads to keep coming back, I think one of the things is to remind them why they joined KP in the first place, and like how, like remind them like why they stayed too. Like, because when you join KA, I see it as you join it for life. You're gonna have your mentor that you could always come to, your mentees that will always be there, that you will always be there for, and like you said, the kuya ate ari, you want to like keep reminding your ates and your kuyas like, hey, I am doing it still, why aren't you? And like, I remember like at the GBM for PCC, you played, the Cocos played the video of like that scene where like the choir was singing the like acapella and like little snippets of like the video. And like, I feel like I wasn't even in that PCC, but I already felt the feels. Like, it was already like, whoa, like, like it's gonna be like, what is it gonna be for like, my first PCC, like what is the video going to be like, and like reflecting on like how every year it's a different process, but through the process you like gain so much, and it's always a different like atmosphere, especially when there's new people, and like especially like if there's new first years, like they're always super excited. Like I'll speak for myself. I was super excited. Like I was super excited to get involved in PCC, and like hearing how like hearing from like my ates and like my rest of like other people, they were like, oh, that's where I got to get close to my class, and like that's how I got close to my fam, and that's how I got close to everyone, and like just the idea of how a production like that brings together a group of people, and like just to remind people that like in order for our community to grow, we have to keep coming back and investing what we've been investing in us. Like saying how like you can't just do PCC and then say, wow, I have community. You'll have to, I can't just do PCC and like say, okay, I'm done because I got what I wanted out of it. I want to be the one to like give back into the space and like give like, because every year it's different. Like you want to, I want to share my experience with like, oh, this was my first PCC. This is what happened, and this is why I think you should join it, because. Whoa! Like, like I don't. It's just like the whole idea of like bringing together. Not just, like I remember like when I first went to one of the practices, I didn't know there was like someone I didn't know, and I was like, "Where did you come from?" And so like, I would be the one to like talk to someone, just be like, "Hi, what's your name? I'm Paolo," and then like they'd be like, "What? Oh, hi. Okay, hold on, sorry. I have a minute. Okay. Just like getting to meet new people.
You might have a lot of friends on board, so how do you plan to keep your personal and professional life?
When I was ASP president, a lot of my friends were also on board or on my council. And I really value professional and personal space. So when we were in that space, I let them know that anything that was said was always at a professional level, and anything outside of that space was a personal or, yeah, it was personal. Easy, clear, professional.
You might have a lot of friends on board, so how do you plan to keep your professional and personal life separate?
Yeah, so I think, sorry.
Or do you even think that they should be separate?
Yeah. I think that to keep it professional and personal, you need to know the time when to step up in the space. I think that is implied in meetings and events like these, events and other opportunities that would require that you to be a board member and not a friend or a GBM.
So I see, I think it's really important to understand that, yes, we're friends, but we also have a job to do, so we can't let our personal lives get in the way of, what we gotta do. And, the fact that we're on a board in charge of probably one of the biggest orgs here is, we can't let little things that have nothing to do with the space affect the space, you know? So we have to, understand that there's a separation, and that when it's time to get serious, we gotta be serious. And that, when we're free to have fun, we're still friends. I mean, we're all friends, and I'll be your friend even if we're not friends. But, just, know that, I'll just know that, when it's time to be serious, and we have to do work, that there's a time and place to, be serious, and there's a time and place when we can, be, frivolous? Frivolous.
Any other? Okay, thank you.